Good morning, Year 5, and welcome to Wednesday's English lesson. Today's English lesson carries on with the theme of the week, which is instructions. And yesterday we asked you to design your own robot and think about what it could do for you. Now, it might be that your robot's going to tidy your bedroom, might be doing your homework, might be playing a game with you. But whatever it is, I know it's fabulous. And the ones that we saw that people sent to us looked really good. So well done. And the important thing is that you annotated all the different features of your robot with some technical vocabulary, okay, so that we're really clear what each part of the robot will do. Today, we're going to be actually writing some instructions for your robot invention. So what does a set of instructions need to have? Well, they need a catchy title, and there needs to be an introduction as to what the instructions are for, and a list of materials and or ingredients that you're going to need. There may also be some diagrams because they can be quite useful, particularly a picture of the finished article that they might be trying to make. And then you need a what to do, and you need to explain these points really carefully, okay? And they'll either be bulleted, numbered points, or you might use time conjunctions to order them. And then at the very end, you need a summary of what should have been achieved. So let's look back at our success criteria. We know we need to ensure we are clear and the instructions are in chronological order. That's really important. You can't eat the cake before you've cooked it. All instructions have to have clear titles such as how to work the C3PO robot. Next, we need to think about what our robot is designed to do and what steps our reader must take to be able to work the robot. Now, this is my plan for my tea making robot. Okay, if you remember, my tea making robot's called Tea to Me version 2. And yesterday I drew it and I labelled it with a lot of different vocabulary, technical vocabulary. Today I'm going to go through and explain using this flow chart that runs, you follow the line along, I'm just going through now, you explain the different steps, and if you answer the question as you go through the plan, you'll be able to make sure you've got enough detailed information to start writing your instructions. So the first question is, how do you power your robot? So I've made some bullet point notes here. It's got a rechargeable battery, charge overnight, and the power cable's at the front of the robot, bottom right. The next question is, how does it turn on? Well, mine's got an on-off button for a nose. Okay, so that's how you can turn it on and off. What happens when you turn it on? Well, this robot's eyes flash, they change from red to green, and you get a slight humming sound. It's important you tell people if your robot's making noises so they know whether it should be making that noise or whether they should be worried about it. Then you need to say, how does it use the information you give it? Well, first of all, you need to say how you give it information. And in my case, you either use the panel on the right side of head to select a drink, the menu selections on the back of the head, or you can use a phone app remotely to program details to send to the sat-nav receiver on the robot. Then it says, what tools does it need? Well, my robot doesn't need tools as such, but it needs equipment such as mugs, tray, and teaspoons. Okay, and then what do I need to input? Well, I need to input water, so I have to fill a tank overnight. It needs milk, so I use replaceable cartons every day. And you need to keep the sugar in the tea bags replenished. And order and delivery details for the cups of tea that are required have to be inputted via the app or on the screen. Then how does it move? Well, it's got extendable arms to hold and position the tray. It's got a single flexi arm, if you remember, that comes out the front of it to get the cup, which it then fills with tea bags and water and milk and so on. And at the bottom, it's got continuous tracks to allow the robot to move forwards and backwards. How does it complete the action you've asked it to do? Well, it processes the order. The flexi arm gets the mug, it puts in the tea bags, it fills it with water, it adds milk and or sugar, and then the sat-nav navigates the robot to the delivery location. And how do you know it's complete? Well, you end up with a delicious hot cup of tea being delivered, and the robot will beep 3 times when it delivers. So that's the flow chart for how my robot works. Now, I also want you to be thinking today about the imperative verbs, the openers, and the time conjunctions you're choosing to add to your notes. Now, on Monday, we made this sheet, okay? So you should have a whole list of imperative verbs, time conjunctions, and sentence openers. I've put a few in here, but hopefully you've got a lot more because you were looking at different instructions and collecting or magpieing ideas from there. You need that to hand today. So your task, and you'll need to have a copy of your robot from yesterday, okay, and the table that I've just shown you with your imperative verbs, time conjunctions and sentence openers on. And you're going to use those to help you plan your instructions as a flowchart. And then as you plan it, you can add in imperative verbs, time conjunctions and sentence openers. And you might want to go back and add in even more adverbs afterwards, like how you do things: slowly, carefully, quickly, gently. So if I was to do that on my flowchart, I've added in some openers like most importantly and safely. Okay, so safely charge overnight. Okay, and then on off button, I've put an opener: firmly press the on off button to switch the robot on. And immediately its eyes will start flashing and change from red to green. So I've put immediately there. And then I've put do not worry as my opener for this bit. Do not worry if there is a slight humming sound, and then I'll carry on because this is normal. And then here, because they've got a choice as to how they program it, they can either use the panel or use it the app remotely. So I'm going to use alternatively. You can either give the robot information using the panel on the right side of the head to select a drink, or you can use a phone app to remotely program the details. And then over here I've got smoothly to describe how the continuous tracks are allowing the robot to move forwards and backwards. And also in an instant the sat nav will navigate the robot to the delivery location. And finally, this is my final point, a delicious hot cup of tea will be delivered. So I've started adding in red some openers, some time conjunctions and some adverbs that I'm going to use on my plan, and then I'm going to include them in my writing. So pause the video and have a go at that, and then when you've done you can come back to this screen. Okay, welcome back. You've now got a plan, okay, that goes through the various steps that you need to program your robot. And now you're going to add extra detail to your plan in each step to make sure it's clear what should be achieved or what should occur at each point. So for example, if so far I've got first locate the small button positioned in place of the nose of the robot and flick it to the on position, the detail that I'd add is, as a result, you will see the normally red LED lights begin to flash green. This is simply to alert you that the robot is powering up. So I've added this bit in brackets in to make it really clear what the user is going to see as a result of turning on the button. Okay. So you need to go through your plan and think about what do you need to add in? What is going to happen at each stage of working your robot? And think about using conjunctions and starting phrases to add the detail. What are you going to put on your plan? I've got some examples here. Consequently, as a result, due to this, in an instant, immediately. So see if you can use any of those in your writing. Okay, so now you're ready to carefully go through your plan, add in this detail, and then make sure that you're happy with it. And I can assure you that your teachers, Mrs. Roberts, Miss Bridges, Miss Dawes, myself and Mrs. Morgan, are really looking forward to seeing what you've got. Okay, happy writing. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Goodbye.